Hey guys, we're back with the house in Fata Morgana. When we last left off, we got Yukimasa to agree to help us. It just took, 5 fingers and almost an arm. Nothing that big. And I think we're about to meet with him, and he's gonna tell us a flashback, similar to Mel's last time. Well, not last time, like a couple times ago. It's almost sunset. Looks like the snow didn't stick. Okay, and Giselle's disappeared. Don't know what's up with that. Couldn't actually see the snow last night, could you, Giselle? Oh, you realized it! Was that when the light started fading from the spear of darkness encasing you? Or had it been going on even longer than that? Why didn't you say anything? Not a word. I don't believe you're gone for good. Hold on, I want to make sure... Yeah, okay, I'm good. You're still out there. Somewhere. I know it. And I'll come for you. I swear it. Just a moment. Here I am, as promised. I said just a moment. Already talking, so I thought there was someone with you. But you're alone? It's only me, yes. I see. As I told you earlier, my perspective on events will do nothing to change Morgana's mind. I'd still like to hear what you have to say. Alright. Not being from this land, I don't believe in the local god, nor do I think priests and preachers any better than con artists. Where did that come from? What I'm trying to say is if I give a confessional, it won't be to another human. Huh? You're an angel. Come again? The angel from the stained glass window. That's you, isn't it? Wait. How on earth did you come to that conclusion? I was thinking about everything you said earlier in the cellar. The fact that you knew about Morgana, the fact that you could see into my heart, and in particular, all you're talking about saving people's souls. Salvation is not man's job. Which means you must be something else. I'll tell you everything. Every foolish mistake, every terrible crime. And in exchange, I'd like you to tell me what I am to do next, to lead me down the path I am to take. I terrify myself. With every passing day, my ability to tell what direction I'm supposed to be heading in dulls. Like, just don't kill people. That's a good start. So after I tell my story, I want you to do that for me. Please. Will you show me the way? I can... See, there's a degree of ironic, a couple months ago there's that, the Knuckles guy. Now, if I do it now, this won't get uploaded until, which, even now that's, old, if you say that you're, 10, actually. But now, think about it, if I made that meme, this will be uploaded in, November. Well, if it goes this fall, it's gonna be in November. But, later this year, so maybe by then, I'll have reached a degree where it's ironic enough to be funny. But I'm not going to attempt that. You can no more decide the path you take than you. But you saw into my heart. Giselle, if you were here, you would encourage me to agree to his request, wouldn't you? Okay. I can't guarantee that anything I'll have to say will be of use, but I'll do the best I can to lead you in the right direction. Thank you. Now, before I begin, there's one thing I need to clarify. Huh? I'm not in love with Pauline. She does play an important role in my life, though. That much is true. She's your tether. Exactly. I suppose you could say, admire her. She's everything I am not. Everything I cannot be. Is that something I should tell her, you think? That I don't love her? That I'm incapable of feeling love? Should I tell her that, knowing she genuinely loves me? My instinct tells me I shouldn't. I know very well I'm lying to her. But there are circumstances in which a lie is preferable to the truth, are there not? With that said, I'm ready to begin. You have my full attention. Let's do this. Can we play a song? It's been eerily quiet. But the game's not just muted, is it? No, I hear the sound effects are there, right? Oh, okay, there it is. As you know, I'm not from this land. The issue is, I don't know any more about where I came from than you. I remember the Silk Road, stretching out before me as the eye could see. Clouds of dust wisping across the bare dirt trail. That endless expanse of red earth remains branded into the very fabric of my mind. But beyond that, most of my memories are gone. I only clearly remember the last 5 years or so of my life. The oldest real memory, I was a slave. I didn't work on some nobleman's estate, but instead I did physical labor, construction work. I built roads and buildings, tore down hills and mountains. It's where it was decided someone built like I am would be the most use, I suppose. While I don't need to tell you this, living conditions were miserable. Other slaves withered away and died on a daily basis. Working a noble's estate would have been easier, without a doubt, if only for the fact I would have a specific master. I don't remember anything about my life before becoming a slave. All I have are those few images, from which I can guess I was a part of a caravan, or perhaps a messenger. Vaguely remember being waylaid. We were vastly outnumbered, massacred with little resistance. Or at least, I assume that's what happened. When I next woke up, I had been stripped bare and I was surrounded by men I didn't recognize. The words they spoke were gibberish to my ears. What I could tell from their tone of voice and expression is that the things they were saying were not friendly. They seemed to be mocking me, laughing at me. As you might expect, I attempted to protest, but evidently, I'd been beaten quite badly while I was unconscious. My joints were stiff and swollen, on top of dehydration, so I could barely move, let alone put up a fight. As strong as I might have been at full health, I was in no condition to do anything then. You have no idea what that's like. How it feels to be abused and humiliated, desperate for food and water. Oh, I see. So as I was saying, what, did Michelle respond to that? I was a slave for 1 grueling torturous year, and that's referring to Amy, probably. Like, if Michelle responded. For 1 grueling torturous year, no one treated me like a human being. There's no one from the same part of the world as me. And there's no one to come to my aid. Over time, I came to learn their language. Though I can only speak it, I don't know how to read or write. But to be honest, I think I was happier not understanding what people were saying about me. They had many words to describe me, none of them flattering. Some of them would even call me beast. The longer I was treated as something less than human, the more I began to question whether I really was one. A darkness grew inside me with each repeated insult. I wanted to make them pay for the daily abuse. And who wouldn't? The desire to exact vengeance when you've been mistreated is only natural. It's perfectly reasonable. They were right about what I was deep down. A beast. My revenge went far beyond what could be considered reasonable. "4 years ago, I was sitting in a carriage as it rattled along a dirt road. This was not the kind of carriage you rode around town in, but a filthy slave transport. It was packed front to back with slaves, or soon-to-be slaves, I suppose you could say. There were men, young women, and even children. This is where Morgana was. Oh, by the way, this scene's called The Killer and the Nun. Didn't notice that until now. Everyone wore a look of hopelessness on their faces. No one had the strength left to resist. They looked like me a year earlier, deprived of food and water and beaten into submission. The slave traders' guards were armed, of course, swords hanging from their hips, ready to cut down anyone who showed any sign of resistance. So they sat there, lamenting their fate. Sitting beside me was a young girl, crying in silence. Glancing over at her, I caught a glimpse of her face. Large chunks of skin seemed to have fallen off it. It was, suffice to say, an unusual sight. But beyond that, I didn't think too much of it. I didn't find it disturbing or unpleasant. Perhaps because I had a similarly unusual appearance. What caught my attention, though, was the way she was crying. I'm not sure how to describe it, but it seemed different somehow from everyone else crying in the carriage. It was almost like her tears were not for herself. "Why are you crying?" At my question, the girl turned her head up to look at me. Surprise crossed her face for a few brief seconds. That was her only reaction to my appearance. I assume her thought process was roughly the same as mine, so she felt no need to fear me. After a moment's hesitation, she said, "I'm sad because I don't get the chance to show my gratitude to people very dear to me." Her response perplexed me to no end. Why was she concerned about showing gratitude? Why was she not despairing of her own circumstances? What was the emotion that gripped her in that moment? Not hatred for the slave trader, or sorrow for herself. To this day, I still don't understand. But that wasn't the only thing I found curious. Her voice, despite being soft, cut through the crying and wailing of the other slaves. I pictured it like a single patch of clear water in the middle of a swamp, untainted by its surroundings, gently and undulating. One sentence was all she said. There's something unbelievably calming about the sound of it. For a moment, I was filled with a sense of tranquility. And though you may not believe it, I wanted to get her out of that filthy carriage, to undo the shackles threatening to taint her. And so I took action, driven by that desire. This is no lie, I promise. No! No, don't kill me! But please! You can have all my money! You can go free if that's what you want! I'll apologize! Anything! What? Why are you laughing? Please, spare me! Look, I'm starting a long day of recording. I'm not going to start off by killing my throat. Right here. I have a wife and children. Please. I'm begging you. And why should I care? Oh! That was my scream. I did that. I got really good, huh? Holding a sword in my hand felt amazingly right. Whatever work I once did must have required me to use a blade. Even with the shackles still around my wrists, I had little trouble slaughtering the slave traders and their guards. They let their guard down because we were restrained. The thought of anyone resisting never once crossed their minds. Dead bodies sprawled out around me. Corpses I had made, lives I'd snuffed out. Look at this. See? No one can defeat me. Still no chance against my strength. Okay, look. More. I need more. I need more! I don't have the words to describe the high it gave me killing those men, the power I felt over them. I was driven mad by the stench of blood filling the air. No, it just drew out what was always there. If it weren't already deranged, the corpses would have been nothing to stimulate in the first place. Would have had nothing. After taking the keys off one of the slave traders, I returned to the carriage, doing my best to act calm and suppress the bubbling exhilaration. Hey, you. Unlock my shackles for me. I'd do it myself if I could. You. Say something, would you? But she said nothing, simply removing my shackles as commanded. If she had said even one word, let me hear that curiously calming voice of hers, then in all likelihood, probably would have stopped there. But she remained perfectly silent. Everyone was in shock at what they just witnessed, her included. In time, though, the slaves started cheering. The same people who had been wailing minutes earlier were now shouting praises. Our savior! You're our savior! We're free to go home! Oh, yeah, about that. We can have our lives back. Undo our shackles, please. I'm a beast. What? I'm not a savior. I'm not a man. I'm a beast. Isn't that right? I'm a beast, aren't I? Oh, what are you? More. I need more. I thirst for more! What? Oh, why are you putting your... I need more! In that moment, the last of my reason dissolved. I went into a frenzy, slaughtering the helpless slaves I never intended to kill. I was euphoric. I couldn't get enough. I reveled in it. Never before had I felt such utter ecstasy. The cries for mercy as I ripped through them were delicious. The look of fear in their eyes, the way their faces twisted, the splatters of blood around their mouths, open in screams, the despair that filled them. I didn't care anymore that they were just as much victims as me, that they had suffered the same abuse and humiliation. All of that was buried beneath the waves of bliss that ravished me. Everyone who asked to be spared, I skewered. I worked my way around the inside of the carriage, killing dozens upon dozens of slaves. Heads went rolling off shoulders, hot geysers of blood spewing from open necks. I was practically wading through blood by that point. Some bodies I completely dismembered. Others I disemboweled, leaving their entrails to hang out of their open guts. All of them had looks of agony frozen into their faces as death took them. This is awkward. Like, imagine just, being the last one standing. Like, what do you say? Sup? Don't know if I unconsciously avoided her as it was just a coincidence, but the girl was the only one left alive. She, of course, hadn't been spared the mess, so she sat there, drenched in sticky red gore. Her lips appeared to be trembling, though I couldn't tell for sure with so much of her skin missing. The fire inside me still burned white hot. Just the reason I had done any of this in the first place. I'd stood up because I wanted to set her free, but my original intentions were long since gone from my mind. Her pleasure overwhelmed any sense of reason. I approached the girl, pointing the sword at her neck. I expected her to scream, to beg for her life like the others, but she did nothing, simply stared up at me. Why didn't you run? My question, and the girl finally spoke. Why did you kill them? The sound of her voice quelled with the furor within me. It baffled me. I had no control over it, yet the strange girl could pacify me with a single utterance. The word she used didn't matter. It was her voice. She could have called me a monster, and it would have had the same effect. Because I felt like it. I couldn't explain my reason for murdering the slaves. I didn't have the words to express the things that drove me. All I could tell her was that I did it because I felt like it. Why haven't you killed me yet? I couldn't find a sure answer for the question in my somewhat rattled mind either. In retrospect, I realized now that her voice was my first tether. But at the time, I had no idea why I didn't take her life in my frenzy. I had killed other children, other women. Oh, young, old, sad, miserable, it didn't matter. Nothing had so much as prickled my conscience. I don't know, I said, and then I stepped off the carriage and walked away, left with questions I couldn't answer. Was I really a beast? Was unleashing my innate savagery and reveling in the massacre of helpless people really all I wanted? I didn't know. After escaping from the slave traders, I became something of a bandit, and no hope of anyone taking me in. Not only was I a murderer, as a foreigner, nor did I have any chance of finding decent work. So I lived by the sword, killing and plundering. The money I honestly didn't give a dang about. I have no desire to be wealthy. A simple matter of survival. That, and quenching my thirst. I went on for about 3 years like that. Till finally encountering something I couldn't defeat with my sword. No amount of muscle was enough to protect myself from disease. One day I woke up with the chills, my vision blurry, barely able to move my own limbs. I set off for a nearby village, hoping to see a doctor, but my body didn't last that long. I collapsed to the side of the road, drained of my last strength. It was a moderately busy road, at that, so I assumed that I had made it close to the city. Dozens of people passed by, silently pretending not to see anything. I didn't look like someone a respectable person would want to involve themselves with in normal circumstances, so it was no surprise they weren't interested in this sick, filthy, foreign man. Wait, hold on. They forgot the Oxford comma. You can't do that. It's not allowed. Couldn't even remember the last time I bathed. It was hard to look at me, let alone get anywhere near me. This is where I'm going to die, I thought. It seemed like a suitable end to a mad, murderous monster's life, withering away on the side of the road beneath sneering passerby. The fact that I was still alive at all after 3 years of leeching off of other people's lives was itself wrong. I didn't lament my impending demise. I accepted that such was the way of the world. But then, I glanced up to see a woman in a nun's habit looking down on me. Are you alright? Are you sick? I'm going to check your temperature, okay? Wow, you're burning up. You shouldn't be here in this condition. Do you not have anywhere to go? Don't worry, I've got you covered. There's a church not too far from here. Hang in there just a little longer, and you'll be fine. What is your God going to do for me? Helps people in need? It's not very big, but we've always got room for people who need it. You can rest up in one of the open beds. I should be able to get you a little something to eat. I promise it'll be better than staying out here at any rate. Can you stand? Not a problem. We can do this together. Put your arm around my shoulders. Church isn't that far. We can do it. You are going to carry me? Yep. It'll be fine. We make it, one way or another. Crawling strong with her orange diet. Straight oranges in door 2, right? I vaguely remember that. We're almost there. Just a little longer. I'm heavy, aren't I? Very, very heavy. It's not a problem. I can do anything if I put my mind to it. Just throw me into a ditch. Now. God doesn't like his children talking like that. Almost there. We're almost there. So, how are you feeling? Better, I hope. I've left some applesauce on your bedstand if you're feeling up to eating anything. You're welcome to stay here as long as you need to. Why did you help me? Because that's what people do. They help each other. It's not what most people do. I like to think it is. You church people are exceptions. Not sure I agree with that. This woman is only showing me compassion because she doesn't understand what I am. She doesn't know what I am. She wouldn't be so friendly if she knew I was a madman and a murderer. If there's anything else you want, let me know. Can't make you any fancy dinners, but if there's anything I can get, I will. Could you tell me your name? I'm Marie. Marie. After, who was it? The Virgin? You're not familiar with the Virgin Mary? Just look at me. Clearly not from these parts. Ah, yeah. I can see that. So that would make you a traveler, huh? You speak the language really well, though. I take it you've been here a while, then? Yes, I have. Exciting. So when you're feeling better, maybe you could tell me about the country you came from? I've never been far from home, so I'm curious what it's like elsewhere. There's nothing I could tell you. Give me anything. Tell me about yourself if you want. Even less inclined to do that. Get better soon, Kay? Looking forward to hearing all about it. Not sure there's anyone out there more deserving of the Virgin Mary's name. What was that? Your name. It suits you. Oh no, not at all. Incredibly flattered to hear you say that, but I hardly live up to the name. What's your name, by the way? I have no name. You don't? If you want something to call me by, you choose a name for me. Anything you want. I'm nameless. You give me a name. I think you should be the one to choose your name. I'd be more than happy to help, though. But you should go with the name you think is best. I see. Well, I should get going. I'll be around, so if you need anything, just holler. Bye then. How am I supposed to choose a name for myself when I don't know anything about me? I recovered quickly with a proper bed and a roof over my head. Out on the road, I'd certain I stood no chance, but I was back on my feet after only 3 days at the church. My body was more resilient than even I knew. Now that I was back in health, I had no intention of sticking around. Thank you for everything. I'd be dead if it weren't for you. No thanks necessary. I'm just glad to see you're feeling better. So no need to be in such a rush to leave, you know? Stay a bit longer. Make sure everything's alright. I'm not going to stay any longer than necessary. If you're sure. Take this as payment for the food and lodgings. Logging? It's lodgings. Yeah, it's lodgings. I can't accept that, no. We don't charge for charity. Charity is not free. You paid for it. Let me pay you back. I can't. Please, take the money. If you insist, I can accept it as a tithe. A tithe? Think of it like a donation to the church. Like you said, the work we do isn't free. Alright then, a tithe it is. Thank you. May God bless you for your generosity. So long. If you're ever in the area, maybe you can stop by sometime. I never did get the chance to have that talk with you. I was really looking forward to it too. I'll just cause you more trouble. What? No, you won't. What makes you think that? Are you afraid you'll scare people off because you look different? I really don't think you need to be worried about that. It's not just my appearance. Do you mean it? That I won't be any trouble having me around? I absolutely mean it. Okay. I'll consider it. What is that? Like, wonderful! Can't wait to see you again. Yeah. Believe me, I know I had no place involving myself with her. Like Killer making himself comfortable in the house of God. I don't even believe in their deity, and I still knew that was nothing if not extremely disrespectful. The money I had donated to her church wasn't even clean. It was stolen. I didn't feel the slightest bit guilty about it, though. I was more than conscious of what I was doing, but none of that mattered to me. She had smiled when she took it. That was enough. Seeing the nun smile put my heart at ease. Much like the sound of the same girl's voice had several years before. It restrained me, suppressed my urges. That smiling face was my new tether. I'd always believed that I was at my happiest while torturing people. that my thirst for murder was ingrained in my soul. But as exhilarating as taking others' lives was, there's a part of me that yearned for peace. I'd gotten a taste of that with her, and I wanted more. Even knowing I had no place in that world, that peace was something I would never attain. Still, I longed for it. Started with brief visits every few months. In time, though, their frequency began to increase. Soon it was once a month, then twice, then once a week. The length of my visits gradually grew as well. Every time I showed up, the nun greeted me with a smile, quenching my thirst without the need for blood. The more we met, the more I endeavored to be a normal man around her, or to play the part of one. I thought if I acted like there's nothing wrong with me, then I wouldn't be out of place at her side. I wanted to feel like I belonged in that peaceful world where she lived. Ah, it's the giant man! Marie, the giant man's here. Giant? Hello there. I was beginning to think you weren't coming this week. I was having trouble deciding on what to bring you. You're always welcome here, you know. You don't have to bribe yourself in. But I appreciate it, thank you. I wouldn't feel right if I didn't bring something. I brought a variety of fruits for you today, so you can share them with the children. They'll be delighted. Thank you so much. It's nothing, really. So have you decided on a name for yourself yet? Not yet, no. Nothing at all? Makes talking to you a little awkward, not having anything to call you. In that case, the giant man is as good as anything. Did he get under your skin? A little. Not that big, am I? We're all giants to little kids. I do wish they'd be a little less blunt about it sometimes, though. Indeed. I suppose it's better than being afraid of me. Children here have strong nerves. They're ordinary kids. They're just not a scary person. You're just not a scary person. Then they assume I'm harmless because I'm with you. What? You make it sound like you actually are dangerous or something. Because I am. Don't get worked up about it. The only thing different about us is our race. Everything else is exactly the same. Not so sure. You must have had some pretty awful experiences because of your appearance then. What make you so concerned about it? No, I'm kind of curious about something. So, I know modern times, the average height in Japan is lower than it is in, like, America, for example. I wonder back then, like, because the average height back then was, like, basically a foot below what it is now. People were short back then. I wonder if in Japan it was higher back then. I assume it's just he's taller than average. Like, not a lot of thought into that. But I'm just kind of curious if some countries had higher, taller averages back then than they do now. It's interesting to think about. I wish I could say I understood your pain. It's not necessary. But if I could, then maybe I'd feel a little closer to you. If only I could be even half the same race as you. Isn't she? Wasn't her father actually Japanese in or her mother? I forget. In Door 2? I think so. Door 2 is the vaguest one of my memories. Like, I remember Door 1 pretty well, and I remember Door 3 pretty well. But Door 2 is... like, it's not a huge blur, just... there wasn't too much going on with it, so, you know. The few things that were semi-important, don't remember as much. You have nothing to gain for being more like me. You don't think so? Oh, I say that, but Door 2 is probably... I don't know. Of the first three doors, I don't know which my favorite is. It's Door 1 or Door 2. I didn't like Door 3 as much as the other two. It had sweet music, though. And the ending scene with Mirio is pretty cool. Anyway, you don't think so? I think there's a lot that would be nice about it. I'd probably have a I'd probably have really pretty black hair, at least. Is she not? Her eyebrows, they look black to me. If I'm ever reborn, I'd like to be more like you. Why are you so obsessed with being like me? I just am? Oh. Yeah. Okay. That was about the time I started noticing the feelings she had for me. First, I thought I was simply being egotistical. There's no way a woman like her would be interested in a man like me, but I couldn't think of any other explanation for the way she looked at me. Back then, I believed I loved her too. That if we could be together as man and woman, then I'd finally be able to attain the peace I so sought. That I could wash my hands of the killer within me, defeat the urges once and for all. That I could step out of the darkness I had lived in for so long. That I'd be able to see the light. That I'd be able to experience love like any other ordinary man. So in the name of that hope, I took action. That foolish, naive hope. What are you doing out here, so late at night? Sorry for asking you to meet me on such short notice. I hope it wasn't too much trouble sneaking out. It certainly wasn't easy. So you had something to tell me? What I'm about to tell you, every last word is sincere. Then once you've heard me out, I want you to turn me down. What? Over these past few months, I've come to at least somewhat understand the responsibilities and restrictions placed on you as a nun. But even ignoring the obligations you have, I know good and well I'm not a suitable match for you. Which is why, as I said, I'd like you to turn me down. I still want to hear it. I love you. I fell for you the moment I first saw you. I know I don't deserve to be anywhere near you, but every time we met, my desire to be with you grew stronger and stronger, till it was out of my control. Turn me down, Marie, please. I'll stop trying to get close to you. Not Marie. You're not... What? My real name is Pauline. Pauline? Was it using... Oh, okay, I was still using Pauline beforehand. Marie is my baptismal name? It was not the name I was given at birth. I love you too. Fell for you the moment I first laid eyes on you. I know it's forbidden, but I want to be with you too. Any free time I have, I want to spend it with you. I'm glad to hear you say that. Thank you for being honest with me. No, thank you for not turning me down. I'll talk about an anxious day. When you asked me to meet you out here tonight, wondered if that might be what it was about. Felt like my heart was going to explode all day. Heart explode? Guys get nervous about telling girls how they feel too, don't they? Yeah, we do. Till now, I had no idea falling in love was so hard on the nerves. Just thinking about you makes my mind turn to mush. It's hard to work like that, you know? Is it really that stressful? Is it like that for you too? Yeah. Thinking about you makes it impossible to concentrate. Tell me something, Pauline. What is it? How exactly is it hard on your nerves? What? How exactly? It's like, I'm in the clouds and I want to scream and I want to jump into a lake all at the same time. That doesn't help me much. Could you be a little more specific? Really? Are you trying to embarrass me? It's like, my whole body gets really hot. You mean you get aroused? Are you? It's aroused, I think. No. It's... To put it bluntly, I see. You're a real jerk, you know. You shouldn't go around trying to humiliate ladies. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Oh, you. Well, that was insightful. So I'm not in love with her, or romantically attracted to her, or even physically attracted to her. All I want from her is her smile. Being around her doesn't arouse me. In fact, it does exactly the opposite. My fire burns brightest when I'm not with her. It all makes sense now. I just want someone to keep me placated. I'm disturbed through and through. A murderer and a beast. See? That's why I didn't want to say anything. I knew you would laugh at me. Sorry. Truly am. I did ultimately get what I wanted out of the arrangement. She became my tether, became an invaluable part of my life, even if I had no real love for her. When I was with her, I was at peace. That said, her presence didn't completely rid me of my urges. I still occasionally struck with bouts of insatiable thirst. Overwhelming desire to mutilate anyone who came within my line of sight. Sometimes, Pauline became the object of that desire. It goes without saying that I never did draw my sword on her, but I had no way of knowing when I might lose control. If I ever did kill her, that there would be nothing left to keep me from regressing completely into a beast. Pauline and I arranged regular nighttime meetings, though never once did I tell her how I truly felt. I had no intention to either. When I was with her, I was in the role of her lover. She never questioned my love for her. Expressing hers for me caused her to smile even more than normal. The happier she was, the more beneficial it was to me. Spending time with her in this capacity, I was able to gain a deeper understanding of what kind of person Pauline was. She was a deeply generous and compassionate woman. While I now understand her near compulsive deeds of charity were a result of the stress and uncertainty she felt about herself at the time, I believe she was doing it because she genuinely wanted to. I believe she wanted to save absolutely everyone, to be the saintess she had come to be known as. She gave assistance to anyone who sought it from her, without question. And as a result, the church's coffers quickly dried up. Her God did not supply her with an endless store of bread and wine either. In the end, any endeavor, no matter the intentions, requires money. In time, her generosity turns excessive, self-destructive. She would even skip meals so that others could eat. In retrospect, that was probably my fault too. As I pushed her towards wanting to be a regular girl, she pushed back against the desire by being more charitable. Soon, her actions started making the other nuns' lives difficult, giving her a less than favorable reputation within the church. Still, she would tell me when she met up how she wished she could help even more people. Doing so would give her peace. If I could be part of that peace, then I wanted to grant her a wish. What could a killer like me do to help? Petty thievery wouldn't make me nearly enough money to keep a church and orphanage running. A raid large enough in scale to do so would inevitably be traced back to the source, which would ruin the church forever. How's a murderer to require such a large sum of money? I started to jump at any opportunity that presented itself, when I received a summons from the Lord. Why? Again, I thought Yukimasa would be the one to contact him, but... Okay. Yakubo finally shows up. We've only seen him in the bad end, I think, so far. So anyways, I'll see you guys again next time. Some more of the House of Fata Morgana. Hopefully we can wrap Yukimasa's flashback up next time. Seems like it's doling down. Like, not doling down, like... And Yakubo's gonna be like, yo, there's this witch. Go find her. Maybe he'll show the Mel's the side of... You get what I mean. Like, you know, when he was like, yo, Mel, I have a sword. And your sister... Yeah, that. You get what I mean. Anyways, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.